Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about the importance of the image for the narcissist and how it can be harmful to children, because it is. So, a lot of times through divorce, image is everything to them. I remember dating someone who, when I found out she was in her ex-husband was in a 4-year affair, she took him back to try to make it work. And being kind of codependent minded and a giver and someone who wants to work out things, I thought extremely highly of her, and it was attractive to me. But later I would learn it was only because she was worried about her image. She even confessed that she didn't want to be known as someone who was divorced. So image is everything. So for my ex-wife, she tells everyone, oh, I left him, I escaped, he was abusive, he was that. No, I left her and I divorced her after so many years. Tried to about 6 years prior, and then she told me, oh, the doctors think I have cancer. Now, for someone who's codependent, we're like, crap, I feel guilty as can be. And so they do anything to keep you. And at the end, as I've said before, it's why she threatened to kill me and also threatened suicide, so I'd feel guilted if I was to leave her. But none of it was going to work. I was done. I had enough. And I'm celebrating recovery now because I have 7 years past this. But just in the last year alone, it's been really the greatest strides in all of it. So a lot of these videos are long right now. The whole idea for me is I'll start sharing shorter ones down the road, maybe like on IG and so forth, because I feel it as an obligation and duty to help other people. When I talk about how her image has been harmful to the children, I had a responsibility in that too. I did. Because for a lot of years, I've defended this person. Mother of my children, I always love her. Well, no more defending. This is a monster. One of the counselors said, you keep defending her. You got to stop doing that. That's our tendencies. People might say, well, why are you airing out your dirty laundry now and this and that? It's not to do that. It's to share with other people, because there's going to be other people that are stuck in a situation. And I don't want to victim blame, because if you're stuck in a situation, I pray you can find a way out. But if you're out of that situation, then you've escaped, and you've got to figure out every way not to attract to that pattern again. People with codependency typically come in from a childhood where they're trying to help and rescue someone because maybe they felt abandoned or they were abused, which is what happened to me. But the person who is a narcissist, they use you as supply because you'll do everything to fix it. Everything. They'll beat you down with their words. Covert narcissism is the most dangerous because she went on an amazing smear campaign, and here we are 7 years later. And I would think if anyone would want to cast any kind of judgment on me, I'd say you probably need to look in the mirror because you're blaming a victim. And that was hard for a strong guy who played football, ran a business, did well. And I love my success because I was always trying to prove myself, right? And that's what my counselor said. A lot of people like that have a lot of success. Okay, great. But it's also kind of a little bit of a mask too because of our own insecurities. And they expose that and they take advantage of that because we're trying everything to make it work and to try to get them to love us. And they never can because it's never enough. Why? Because they don't love themselves. They just don't. And, there's a lot of braggadocious going on social media about how some women, they leave their spouse or so forth. They never marry again. Well, yeah, I can see why sometimes because for my situation, she kept telling me, you've ruined my life. And that's the image she portrayed to my children. And that's harmful. And those were lies. She tried to have a relationship with the guys for several years, and my daughter said he's a recovering alcoholic. I said, of course he is. Codependency. My codependency was represented by how I worked, getting all the accolades and adulation from clients, coaching soccer teams, and so forth. I didn't know it because I was putting up with all of it because I thought that's just what it's called, working on marriage. So I get long-winded on some of this because I don't think people really understand what it's like to be in abuse. I was one of those guys years ago that used to think, wow, why does that person keep going back to that abusive situation? Are they stupid? Wow. I would never say that again. Because unless you've been in it, that manipulation is horrible. And I thought I was good after it. No, they make your life miserable. They will pit your children against you, alienate you one by one. I have 5 children. I thought for sure I had a hold on the last 2. Like they know better. I forgive them. because I was in it for 23 years. I get it. That's how the covert narcissist works. So it's tough, and I share that in some of the other videos that I have, and I'll share in the future with more examples. But today, this is a big one. This is huge. This is why the image for the narcissist is so important that it's even at the detriment of the children. First of all, I use them as pawns. The people that bought my house a few years ago, man, I don't know. Why do I attract these narcissists? That's because that's what we do. Even after I had other offers for hire, I just fell in love with that family. They presented this amazing picture of who they were. Several months later, their oldest son, out of 7 children, called me trying to look for them. I said, I didn't know you existed. They told me about their other kids and heard about your brother that died. He goes, that's why I'm calling, because they're under investigation from CPS. That's why they moved from California. I go, what? And I said, well, how come I haven't heard about you? And he goes, because I'm gay and I married a man. I said, oh, jeez. Their image is everything. They're the people that flaunt on Facebook. Look at me. Look how great we are. And that poor kid, alienated because it doesn't fit into their image. Now that's sad. It's sickening. That's what narcissists do. Whatever is required of their image. So for my ex-wife, for her, it's important, and she has said this, and I've heard it from people. It's what she does, and she posts it all over her social media. Look how great I am. I'm holding the hands of my daughter-in-laws, and oh, yeah, they don't like their dad. No, that's not the case. She's good with manipulation. So let me give you a big example. And this is something that not even all my kids know. And this could be, like I said, saying that I'm airing dirty laundry. I'm not. I'm sharing. Part of recovery is standing in truth and no longer defending their actions. When I say that she tried to kill me, when I say she tried to commit suicide, when I say she forged documents and committed a felony offense, and when I say she lied about abuse and she was all caught in court, these are documents. Got text messages, screenshots. I have audio. I can speak truth because she's the nicest, sweetest, most gentle, 5'6", 100-pound person. And you would think, wow, how could she be lying? That's why the covert narcissist is dangerous. Dangerous. And I have responsibility because I defended that person for so long. So I'm going to give you an example today. This will be in a short video at some point in the future. Image is everything. Everything to them. I remember my youngest son, we had problems with him with marijuana. She didn't want to say anything to anyone. In fact, her sister did the same damn thing with her own son. That they just quietly held, put it underneath the rug. No, not for me. It's a gateway drug. I called the SRO, student resource officer at the school, the counselor. I called the parents involved. I found out who the dealer was, the young kid. Man, the parents were grateful. It takes a village, right? She's like, oh my gosh, what are people going to think? I said, what? I don't want my kid getting worse. That could have been harmful. That's where I put my foot down. But here's where it really hurt. And I got kids with health conditions that can end up, lowering their lifespan if they don't take care of the things. So she kept underneath the cover, even with a few of our kids. And I was with her because, when you do marriage counseling, you help a friend, and you wonder why are they doing what they do, and then you realize they got to go sleep with that person at night. So there's some compromises they make. And so as a parent, I would go to the doctor visit, on doctor visits with my children a lot of time. Dr. Shaw, Allen Family Clinic, great guy. The joke with him was he would slip every once in a while. He goes, oh yeah, you mean Marfan syndrome? Oh yeah, the syndrome they don't have. All 5 of my children have Marfan syndrome. There's a side on my ex-wife's family up in Utah, Layton. You can see it in the pictures. They have it. It's clear as day. But she didn't want to have her image hurt. So the kids don't really know. So my youngest has the chest bone caved in. Daughter and other 2 kids, with their protruding bone outward. If you were to do this, you'd go down and then way out. You can do the finger test. Their thumbs go past here. You can do a wrap. It goes way around. People always ask me, where's the height come from in your family? My dad's 5'8". I'm 6 foot. My ex-wife is 5'6". It's Marfan syndrome. They're tall and slender. Long fingers, flat feet, big feet. I raised my kids to be comfortable in their skin, and they were. But, my oldest has an arrhythmic issue with his heart. So we've had that monitored and looked at and had extensive tests. But everything's like, right? The problem is, and also I've got my middle child. He's got everything inside reversed. Lungs, heart, everything. Now, he's done some tests and everything. He played football, so he had that professionally looked at. Everything's fine so far. But I guarantee you they probably didn't look at the aortic valve, which is the number one issue for Marfan syndrome because it can actually expand and then like that. Used to be life expectancy was 40s, now it's 70s. If you monitor it and you're on top of it, all the symptoms are there. But see, this was something she never, ever wanted to say, acknowledge, research, and it was frustrating. For me as a parent, I would just look for symptoms. But now I've done all this research later on, I'm thinking, oh, geez, what if it's worse than what it is? But that's where image is. Who cares about image? Just because it's hereditary. My sister did the same damn thing with her son. He started showing Tourette's, which runs in our family. It's obvious from my videos on how I have it, with little tics here and there. It just happened. You deal with it. Image is overrated. Image fades, okay? If you're worried about what people are thinking about you, oh my gosh, then you're not living. You're not living. I remember my sister saying, I don't want my ex-husband, I was going to say the name, but to think that I caused this, I don't have it. Oh my gosh, yes she does. She has it worse than I do. And after almost every sentence, she goes, ha ha ha. She has the audio. It happens. But she's in denial because she also has high narcissistic traits. Okay, it happens. But don't hurt your son. Don't hurt your children. Now, with Marfan syndrome, there's drugs and stuff they could take, but there's stuff that they're going to have to keep on and to look after and to take care of. But she doesn't want to do that, and she didn't do that as when they were growing up. I would always look at the symptoms, but looking at it now, I regret, and I do have a responsibility. That's the problem. With people with codependency tendencies, you think you're working at it, you trust the counseling industry, but they're manipulating the narrative. They're meeting with the counselor a few sessions before you actually meet with them. So by the time you meet with the counselor, it's all your fault. Codependence, we assume all the fault. That's why we apologize a lot. The narcissist never apologizes, never sincerely, and always never takes accountability. Why? Image. It's important to them. I remember when my daughter came out to me gay back in 2016. I remember she goes, "Well, I'm bisexual." I said, "Sarah, put your arm out." And she puts her arm out. I turned the palm up. I rubbed my arm down. And I said, "What if I'm a guy and I do this?" Okay, now I'm a girl and I do this. She goes, "Oh, okay, I'm gay." Don't water it down with your dad. Just tell me, live free. I understand it. I love you. I'm not going to judge you. I love you. I will always love you. And then I said this, and not because I knew. I said, "Have you told your mom?" And she goes, "Not yet." And I said, "Good luck with that." Image is everything. I remember a few weeks later, I was signing over the title to one of my sons because I had him take care of the insurance, and I was not going to have the responsibility. So I'm meeting her at the title place in Plano, and I asked her. I said, "Hey, so what do you think about Sarah?" And she goes, "Oh, my friends just think it's a phase, and just going through." I looked at her and said, "She's gay. Get over it." And guess what? This is the deal. This is huge for me, and this is what my poor daughter just does not understand and realize. She forgets, because codependents do that. She's a rescuer. She marries someone that just says, "Rescue me." That's what they do. I know every one of my kids intricately. I love them. I woke up every day with them, made them breakfast, got them ready for school, helped them clean around the house, did birthday cakes, made breakfast all the time, made meals, cleaned house. I wasn't one of those traditional dads that, boys outside, girls inside. No, we do it all. Boys, you're going to learn how to bake and cook and do all that, because I was one of those dads. That's important to me. But, you got to understand the LGBTQ plus community has made such far advancements in equality and so forth. And once the ex-wife discovered that she can have a badge of honor and be a parent that goes, hey, I support my daughter. Wow, that's amazing. That's so special. That is so amazing. She's in there like, wow. So now all of a sudden later on, she's posting all over Facebook, doing the pride parades, going too far. You get it, okay? Something like this, if this was to catch wind and she got wind of your ex-husband saying your kids have Marfan's syndrome, which they do. She's the type of person within a year or two, Marfan syndrome awareness. Look at me. She posts a lot of stuff on Facebook because image is everything regarding the look how great I am. That's why the image of the narcissist, the importance of it for them, is detrimental to children. Because in situations like this, where I had a son struggling with marijuana, she told me one time, it's good for his anxiety. Anxiety? He's a minor. He shouldn't be doing this. That's terrible. Rules would change when we got divorced, and she would let him have a girl in his room with the door closed. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because she had to play the hero. She did everything she can to, woo them in and wow them and bring them her way and cast me as the bad guy. Because that's what the narcissist does. The sad part is you're playing nice and trying, but you can't co-parent with them. You just can't. You take lots of screenshots, do a lot of audio, keep your emails, protect yourself, and find a way to get out of that because it's not healthy. You think you're being nice because you're married to them. This is forever. You got children. Man, there was parts early in the marriage I just couldn't imagine where I would have left my kids. And I did try in the 2011 time frame. Up to 2012, I just had enough. But when she pulled that, she finally knew I was leaving. She, lied to me about, I think I have cancer. We had just lost a friend in the family that was close to us, and, yeah. And so it's pretty bad. So at the end of the day, guys, the image of the narcissist, that is their life. You remember they have emptiness of nothing. They will find it through a partner. They will have it through their children, or they will get it through a job or something like that. But they love to be known as, look at me. And for her, it's like, I'm such a great self-righteous person. I met this person 18 months off of a humanitarian mission in Italy. I thought the world of her. We married 6 months later. I had no clue who she was. I didn't know I was a rescuer. I was. She was complaining how she was living at her sister's house, and her sister was hating on her because she was borrowing clothes after she said, you could borrow any clothes you want, and then she got condemned for it, and how she got taken advantage of her by her parents, spending all her money while she was on a mission. So all this was like, oh my gosh, and I did not know. My subconscious was magnetizing toward to, I could rescue you. Rescuing the mom you never could save, trying to change the dad you can never change. And why do we put up with so much? Because that's the childhood that we had. We just call it all love. The good, the bad, the ugly. We call the bad good and the good even greater. And we tell ourselves that narrative too. Because we want things to be right. And it comes at the expense of ourselves because of our own insecurities. So codependency, not good, not healthy. Two toxic people. The good news is codependency, they can help themselves. They can self-reflect. They can get better. They can acknowledge their mistakes. They can acknowledge, hey, I need improvement. Not the narcissist. Her lies is, I left him. No, she didn't. And the other thing is, I'm at fault for everything. Everything. And boy, there were some doozies she tried to tell and tried to put past people and peddle. But why would you not believe the sweet, innocent, 5'6", 100-pound person? She's just it's so hard. It was lies. And they're monsters. To use children the way they do. I had to get my kids to testify in court because she said that I was abusing them. Said that I was abusing her. And after they testified to the contrary, it was done for her. And that's a narcissistic injury like you would not believe. So what do? They up the ante. After that, they go, every which direction they can. Smear campaigning. This is a woman that would contact ex-girlfriends, reach out to them, reach out to my family, and tell them stories that I didn't even know. That years later, I'm like, why didn't you tell me? Well, we just thought you'd say something. Why would I say something? You guys know me. But that's what they do. And it never ends. And it never stops. Another reason why I'm being more outspoken about this, because it has to come out. When I saw the last of my 2 children pull away, I'm thinking, are you kidding me? And I have to forgive them, and I do. And I have to say it every day. I'm going to get upset by it. Because in my mind, I kind of think, well, they have more knowledge than I did back then. But then again, she's that good. The narcissist is that good. And that's the only good thing about them. That's not even good. They're just monsters. And once you start realizing that it's evil and they're monsters, you're now telling your brain and your subconscious to register they're the monster. And that'll help you make that first step to recovery. That first step to escape everything that's bad in the world that they represent, because they do. Even at the expense of their own children. Because the narcissist does not care. They only care about this person. The person that they see in the mirror that they go, wow, what a special person. I would never think of myself highly enough to think, oh, wow, I got something to protect. No. As a Christian, I'm a sinner. I would never be able to merit any sort of righteousness to be worthy to go to heaven. Ever. Ever. It's who I am. It's only by the grace of God, because I know I'm not worthy. And I know that I've had responsibility early on in this marriage, but I used to think, like I said, those people need to get out of that. But unless you've been in it, you just don't know the grip that they have on you. And it is abusive. And it's evil.